volunteers assisted first responders with the rescue efforts to get residents out of those flooded locations. And joining us today are two of those individuals that helped with those efforts, Bethany Olivares and Weslaco Fire Department Lieutenant Rich Stubbs. Both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
This is impressive, Lieutenant Stubbs. We were talking about the preparedness camp that was coming up, and who would have thought it was going to happen on the week of the floods?
Well, you know, we always talk about what would we do if it happened, but this year it actually happened. So.
And tell us how important, and we have video of what those skills look like at the camp and some of the things that we're taught on that week. Why are those things, now that this is a reality, even closer to home as they hit home, why are these skills so important for the youth?
Well, you know, this is a disaster preparedness camp. We're trying to train them to be ready to respond to this type of event and many others. So by having them actually be involved in it as it's happening, I think it really had a major impact on them.
Certainly, and Bethany, you were there, you were part of the camp,
yeah.
And not only were you able to practice those skills as you see in that video, but also those skills were put out on the field. What was it like?
Well, it seemed like it went really well, surprisingly. Of course, everybody has their cert bags, so everyone was like, oh, well, this is an emergency. Do we need them? And you're like, of course you need them, because this is your emergency. This is your test. It's like before you even think you have the test, here it is right in front of you. And we all did really well managing.
And what did you guys encounter out there?
Go ahead.
Oh, so in the nest, which is where the girls were living, it was kind of crazy because there was like rain coming down, and so the roof was kind of leaking. But the girls did so well that everyone was notifying the volunteers. Oh, this is what's happening. Oh, this is what's going on. So I feel like we had a really good grasp on the situation, but. It was kind of crazy, and I mean, we started evacuating in Lieutenant Stubbs' car, and it was kind of.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, Lieutenant, I mean, how many are we talking about? How many teenagers, youth were part of the camp?
We had over 100 that were there this year. The number gets bigger every year. About 40 were affected by the flooding of the dorm, so they actually got to do a live evacuation, getting from the dorm to our famous kitchen called the Chachalaca.
That's interesting. Now, of course, we're talking about a camp that was about being prepared for an emergency, and that is exactly when the floods came down on us, really putting a lot of people underwater. And we thank you guys for all that you do, and I'm so glad that you were able to learn, Bethany. Good skills to keep.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with us.